Yeah. Next is from Dale M. Fortunio. Subject is Cool Guy Zone. Sup, fellas? Listen to the clip you had with Meltzer talking about how AEW isn't cool due to outside perception. I must say he's absolutely right. Reason behind this is because people like him and the sickos that have so much blind pride in this program exclude people that either want to try and join this group or talk down if we don't recognize callbacks for 3 years ago in Japan. I went to the first Grand Slam and someone told me the ref Aubrey is so over. A ref being over? I said this place isn't for me and I left. How would all of you change this perception of gatekeeping? Bonus question. What wrestling Mount Rushmore would Triple H be on?
You can't change the perception of gatekeeping because you can't control how the fans are going to act towards other fans on Twitter and Reddit and stuff. They're always
you can, Joe. Quit doing geeky, stupid, like him coming out and trying to chant something in Japanese and nobody chants with him, and then you come out another time and people boo you. You know, because they see the guy's a geek. Look at him.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Tony can
and at the end of the day, you know, like I said, if you're talking to Tony one-on-one and you're talking sports, movies, like he knows a ton about movies and sports, which are two of my favorite, you know, topics. Wrestling, bro, he's a good conversationalist, but he's got a big head. He doesn't know what he's doing. And so, and him and his fans come off as a little bit entitled. Oh, you don't know what happened 3 years ago. Oh, you didn't watch BT or whatever it's called. You know, and they're kind of a little bit elitist, where they're a bunch of neckbeards who, you know, that are probably. So to change that perception, you got to change the whole. You know, you got to have cooler guys doing cool, guys coming out in jeans and shorts and T-shirts and not dressing up for the part. All those things hurt.
I mean, that changed, but what I meant was, like, you're not going to change how the fans are spiteful and insulting, and that's just.
Yeah, you're probably not.
Then you should have said that.
Let me make a point, though. This is the one problem Tony has. The guy is very socially awkward. Being that, and that's an obvious fact that everybody clearly kind of like talks of, bro, the guy should not be doing as much out in front of doing as much media as he does.
100%, because he comes off like a geek. Like you can tell he's definitely on the spectrum.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the post shows are, he's awkward.
Stay behind the scenes and put somebody else out there in that spot.
Yeah.
You know, but bro, the WWE sends their talent on tons of media things and they come across great.
Right.
You know, you got Cody Rhodes out there making the ref.
Especially Hunter and Nick.
No. I wouldn't even say Hunter. Hunter's very rarely does stuff.
Yeah, but we're comparing them to Tony Khan. But if you look at Hunter and Tony Khan, which is like, you know, you can correlate their positions, right? They just come off as cool, number one.
Right.
Very intelligent, number two.
Right.
He comes off kind of like a geeky, you know, fan that might be.
I got a good question for you here. Okay, because, like, you know, you saw Gunther making the rounds, come across very well. Cody goes out there very well.
Right.
Everybody, like, all their talent. Cross goes out there to be very well, you know, stuff. You know, the Chris, bro, like, who would you put in AEW? Who would you throw out there?
Brian, Jericho.
Who's Brian?
Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan? I wouldn't even throw Daniel Bryan out there.
I would make him the face in place of Tony, I think.
Would you really?
Because he's on the booking committee, he's on disciplinary committee, and people like him. He's got a lot of fans. I would make Brian the face of the office, let's say.
Yeah. I would think a guy like MJF. I mean, he's always sharp.
He's always got to play his character.
But he's very sharp, very intelligent, you can tell. Very high IQ.
Yeah.
Very good with his words. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny too. Even though he kind of like flaps back at the media a lot, I thought MVP. I'd put out the media because he doesn't take. He's got a suit on. He's another very intelligent, very well spoken guy. It's like, dude, these people should be doing the media, not like Tony. You know, it's like they do all the scrums afterwards, and Tony's like out there for the whole time.
Yes,
with the talent. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like Triple H.
Bro, because he's a mark for himself. I've told you how many people have told me he wants to know who's talking about him and what they're saying. Right. Remember, now he doesn't do it as much because maybe his dad or somebody said, hey, bro, knock it off. Right. If I would have clapped back at everybody,
Right.
But if you remember, there was a time when he was clapping back at everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Next from Greer Grayson Jr., subject is Carol
I'm sorry, what about the Mount Rushmore for Hunter? Does he belong on your first round, your second round, whatever.
I don't. He's not on Mount Rushmore yet.
Right.
Maybe second, but first no. But still, everything.
Well, I don't know.
I always
Second or
liked
third
everything
tier.
he's done. I've always liked.
Right.
It's never been.
Yeah. Good. Very, very solid in everything he's done.
Right.
Very, very high level, very solid, but never the actual best. Would be the best way to think. But up there and holds his own against the best would be the best way to describe it.
He was like one of the best examples of their main event style. Like he just
right.
Yeah,
I've always told people, bro, go watch Hunter work in the main events on their pay-per-views. That's the WWE style to a T. So. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing, and we're into the home stretch for NBA and NHL playoffs, and there's more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played, with the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NHL, and UFC. And in between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino and all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino action. So BetOnline, the game starts here. All right, so the show started off with I don't know if you listen to our review every week, but this to me is a glitch. This is the go-home show for the pay-per-view. There's zero recap of what happened last week, and you're just going straight to the match with Moxley and
to the entrance for the Death Riders.
Right, the entrance for the Death Riders. I'm like, bro, this is like fans that maybe haven't watched the past couple of This is a go-home show. It's like a 1 minute package is not a lot to do, but if they didn't have it, so, and they're probably wondering why is Marina Shafir teaming with Jon Moxley and why is Willow Nightingale teaming with Swerve? Well, it happened because for a couple of weeks now, Marina Shafir beat up Willow Nightingale before she could get a word out and been a promo. Now Moxley's wrestling Swerve and Marina Shafir has got Willow got her back a few weeks later, for doing that to her. So they formed a partnership, right? So they're having a mixed tag match. And unfortunately, there's a spot here. I always talk about the girls, they get ahead of their skis on spots. There was a spot where there's a table outside the ring. Willow and Marina are on the apron. Willow goes to kick Marina Shafir in the side of the head. Marina ducks, but I don't know why Marina Shafir thought she would duck and then catch Willow Nightingale, who's very heavy, and Marina Shafir and pick her up into a power bomb, because that's the visual of what they were trying to do. She couldn't get her up, so finally she just gave a last-ditch effort to try to get her up, and before she could really get her up, Nightingale just took the bump off thing and went through the table. She just went right through the table. Okay, it looked rough, but that could have been because she basically dropped her, but she dropped her in a spot that it looked as okay. Here it is. Well, let's watch this spot.
Now watch Nightingale actually helps her. Watch.
Right, she has to.
Look.
Yeah, she has to grab the rope.
Right, and she pushed. Look.
I don't know what. See that's the problem. Let me tell you the problem here.
Yeah, you can't even tell here.
Marina, no, I can tell exactly. Go back again, Joe.
I could.
Marina Shafir is very inexperienced. Okay, I don't know why she was trying to do this. Good, Joe, go back. Okay. Watch when she kicks the right leg. Okay. Play it, Joe. Okay, now Marina's supposed to grab her left leg with her right arm. She's grabbing her right leg up here, trying to pick her up, but then she needed to duck under and pick her up on the underside, like she eventually did, because she didn't know what she was doing because she's never done that before. This is what happens when you try.
And I can't believe
you do it on live TV and this is what happens.
Yeah, you should go into the ring and try it, not actually pick her up and throw her into the table, but actually grab her feet. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Show. Well, this is exactly how we're going to do it. I'm going to catch you here. Go with me and I don't.
You weigh this much. You do. Yeah. So let me just say first, Bond. Then you can tell us what you thought, Harry. Shafir, to me, used to be brutal. She's still green, but at least the match was watchable. She did some really good-looking judo flips. Her selling is terrible. She does not know how to sell. What's the other thing? Because I wrote the notes in my phone. Wait.
Well, the big thing about Willow Nightingale, they haven't been doing it, is she cuts a good promo. She cuts a good babyface, and literally they went the period of 2 weeks. Where it'd be her time to cut a promo, she'd get one sentence out, and then Marina Shafir would come in and clobber her and knock her out.
Yeah.
So she literally hits the best part of her act is her babyface promos, and she hasn't been able to do that like in the past, like however long it's been on the show.
Okay.
And that should have been a spot. They should have had this interview should have taken place right when they come back from the thing earlier in the day and let these girls cut a promo and then go to the entrance of this match is what they should have done to get a pro. Okay, but they didn't. So the babyface. So Marina Shafir gets this was kind of weird. Okay, now there was a lot of physicality between the woman attacking the men during this match. Okay, so Willow was getting a lot of offense on Moxley and splashing him and stuff. They're doing a lot of stuff to him, right? So the baby faces go over. Okay, she does a sit out powerbomb. Marina beats her, right?
But I think
After
it's
the
cool to
match-
mention that in the fit when Swerve was going to hit Moxley with the house call, the kick to the face, Marina
she-
shoved him, took the hit,
Took the hit.
and then
Right,
took the pin. Yeah.
So the guys were physicality on the girls, okay, which kind of made this post match kind of weird logic because after the match, Moxley turned around and gave Willow a DDT, his finish.
Which she sold great.
She sold it great, but they were making the master to make sound what a horrible thing this was. I'm like, dude, like Swerve just kicked Marina. It's like
bro, because they have to say that. They have to say that. Because if not, they'll be accused by all the snowflakes, and that's most of their fan base of man on woman violence.
Okay, but the thing was, they did it. And my point was, it would have been served better if there was no physicality between the men and the women during the match.
Right, but they're trying to get heat on Moxley.
As I say, if that was the only spot, then that would have been like, wow, what a, how could he do it? Like, but it was like they've been, I don't know, whatever. So,
let me just tell you two little problems I had with production. Okay.
Please tell the table with Moxley.
Yes, that was brutal. They missed a shot of Willow knocking Moxley. How do you not know that's coming off the apron and through the table on the floor? They completely missed that. Come on.
It's crazy.
Well, that's like the production meetings of the agency to get with the production, tell them this shot's coming up, be ready for this, and they're not doing it. There was another spot later in the show.
Here's another one.
There was a double dive spot with Ospreay and the King Kid, and Ospreay just went off the screen and
like you don't know what they're about to do.
I had no idea what happened. Yeah, so
right. Here's another thing that I thought was a bad move. They showed close-up of shots of Swerve's back, showing no damage from that broken glass.
No, that's later. Wait.
That was at the end of the show.
Yeah, just get way. Yeah.
But that's a production snafu. Is what I would say.
Let's give the Price is Right losing horn for that comment by Konnan, thinking that this was a spot that was 2 hours later in the show.
I'll just say this, Disco. There was a shock factor for me when Swerve hit Marina with the house call. I was like, whoa, he hit a girl. I was like, I didn't see that coming, but she got into it because she wanted to save Moxley. And then right afterwards, Moxley hit her with the DDT, and I was like, dude, come on. You didn't have to do that. That was intentional. So for me, it worked.
Bro, Willow.
Because it was kind of justified for the heel.
Willow, who's
you kicked my girl up into your DDT years. So I was like,
Willow, who's very charismatic. Marina's the complete opposite, bro.
Yeah. Well, I've heard her. She cut that one weird promo, like you know who I am. You know, remember that weird promo she cut like a couple years ago. Yeah. I don't think she's spoken a word since then.
Good.
Yo, what's up? I just want to thank you guys for watching this clip. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and join our YouTube membership for hours and hours of exclusive, unedited, uncensored content. And being a member will help you get involved in our upcoming live streams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for riding with us. I know you got a lot of other podcast choices, be it wrestling or other ones. And thank you for picking us. Boom.